Well, hello everyone. It's a beautiful day in the woods. The Elbows Up campaign, the Buy Only Canadian Products campaign, the Team Canada campaign. Boy, no, I feel so sorry for so many Canadians who have allowed themselves to be unwittingly brainwashed by this kind of stuff, by their controlled media. You know, when I was younger, before the internet came along, I was an avid CBC radio listener because I had just, embarked upon my career as a craftsperson, working away in the studio with my partner, and we would turn on the radio in the morning and pretty well leave it on for hours, listening to all kinds of interesting conversations being hosted by the various radio show hosts on CBC Radio. And so, as a result, after years of listening to all these different conversations, we thought we were educated. We thought we knew what was going on in the world. And we developed a certain perspective of the world that actually turned out to be false. Because when the internet came along, I decided to start looking around for myself. I decided I wasn't going to simply trust what the media was saying. And the reason is because there was a few times during the phase of listening to the radio only before the net came along, where I discovered that there was certain contradictions being said, being voiced in by the different interviewees that CBC radio show hosts would have on at times, and I decided there's something going on here. This one person is saying this, and this other person is saying that. What's going on? They both seem to have valid points. So I decided to start looking around when the net came along, or when it was made available to us, and I discovered a different story. Pretty well for every single story that the Canadian media, that the American media, the European media tells you on a daily basis. So, in the Elbows Up campaign, it's pretty well the very same. You are being distracted by your media to think that the orange man south of the border is the problem. I don't like, or I shouldn't say I don't like, I don't trust any politician. Why? Because I've learned enough over my time that, and by conducting my own personal research, that you can't simply trust at face value and expect your media to be telling you the truth about virtually any large story. So here we are now in 2025 in Canada, facing an election. And here the Liberal Party already made their selection. It wasn't an election in the Liberal Party. They bad-mouthed a couple of potential Liberal Party candidates and wouldn't let them participate. And they wouldn't let them participate because basically they were going to expose Mark Carney for who he really is. And if you look into Mark Carney's past, you'll discover that you do not want Carney. I mean, look, there's a book out in which he actually promises to destroy Western civilization on behalf of the powers that be. I know this is like kind of like a red pill moment for a lot of people. They won't believe this. They think that this is all made up. But look around. Look around at the country. I mean, this is beautiful here. This never changes. You know, this is so peaceful. You know, just look around here. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's always here. It doesn't get in your face. It doesn't try and lie to you. It feels so wonderful to walk in here by yourself, just in nature. Nobody else around. Nobody else trying to politicize you in any way or socially engineer you, socially engineer certain opinions into your thoughts so that your thoughts are no longer your own. And that's what the media is so good at doing. You know, the media has got so many Canadians today so brainwashed, so convinced that the Orange Man is a bigger threat to, or the biggest threat to Canadian democracy, right? Well, guess what? There's one bigger threat to Canadian democracy, and that is the Liberal Party of Canada. The Liberal Party of Canada did this insane crap to our economy. They created the housing crisis. They created the food bank lineups like we've never seen before. They've created the homelessness problem like we've never seen before. They have created all these problems for us. They have devalued our dollar because they have tripled our Canadian national debt. And, you know, I have to admit, in the short term, things aren't looking so great. And it looks like our Canadian dollar will even take a further dip downwards, which will make life even tougher for the average Canadian family. And we can turn all this around in a moment, but we have to become educated. We have to realize that the very media that we think we're being educated by is actually using social engineering influences to create opinions in our minds that are not our own. We're supposed to think that all of this economic chaos, the housing crisis, well, it was just accidental. It was all because of the pandemic. We had to spend a lot of money on the pandemic. People, what did I just tell you about the media and propaganda and marketing these ideas into you? There was no public health emergency. That was all marketed. That was all marketed. It was advertising. There was no public health emergency. It was about making lots of money off of distributing medicine to the masses. But it was also something else. But that is so large, I can't go into it for those people who are still in the elbows up kind of mindset, because it's going to shut their minds down if we were to cover that kind of stuff. But this is where you are in your history, you know, being one of the pawns, not realizing you're being used, you're being played by the powers that be, by the people that have consolidated their media power into just a few large organizations now. And they're all sharing in the same message to get you to believe the same shit. Anyway, guys, everyone, that's all I've got for now. It's a beautiful day out here in the woods. And hope you find a beautiful day for yourself as well. See you in the next one.